Good afternoon. This is a hearing of the Chatham Conservation Commission being held on July 22nd, 2026, in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Chatham Wetlands Protection Bylaw and Regulations. My name is Paul Johnson, and I serve as the chair. Please note, this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, including the use of AI note-taking apps, please notify the chair. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Chatham Conservation Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID number 182-472-024#. Or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. To all participants, whether attending by phone or online, please remain muted unless you have been recognized by the chair. When recognized, please identify yourself for the record. If you're attending by phone, you can mute and unmute using *6. If you're online and you're not a commissioner, please keep your camera turned off unless you've been recognized. Indicate that you wish to speak by using the raise hand feature. So we have a record of a quorum. I will now ask each commissioner to indicate their presence. Vice Chair Bob Del Vecchio.
Present.
Karen Latin.
Present.
Janet Williams.
Present.
Elise Gordon.
Present.
Eric Hilbert.
Present.
And I am here. We've established that we have a quorum. Is there anyone who would like to make any announcements, comments, or future agenda items for anything other than the properties on the agenda today? You may comment on those when the property is being heard. Before we begin the agenda, Bradford, are there any announcements about requests for continuances today?
Yes, we have two requests for continuances. One for 70 Queen Anne Road has requested a continuance to August 12th, and 101 Oyster Pond Furlong has requested a continuance to August 26th.
Thank you, Bradford. At this point, Bradford Bauer, Chatham's Assistant Conservation Agent, will now lead us through the agenda.
First up is an order of conditions for 50 Chase Street. Homeowners are Maria and James Anderson. Map 16C, parcel C8, DEP number SE10-3784. This project proposes several land management activities, including invasive species management, restoration of a coastal bank, conversion of a portion of lawn into meadow, minor regrading following removal of a short timber retaining wall in disrepair, minimal expansion of an existing driveway conversion to permeable pavers, and installation of an osprey nesting platform. This was continued from June 24th, 2026.
Is there anyone here representing that property?
Yeah, hi. For the record, Lauren Taylor with Crawford Land Management on behalf of the applicants. Yeah, we had a chance to review the draft order of conditions, and we didn't have any questions or concerns about it. I think you received our letter. We just noted that the 21-inch Norway maple to remain. There was a limb on that snapped off in a storm this winter, so we were looking for, approval to remove that limb just to help the wound heal cleanly. But it looks like that was already reflected in the order. So we didn't have any concerns on our end.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, anyone? Okay, I think we're ready for...
I make a motion that we close the hearing on 50 Chase Street and approve the order of conditions as amended.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet? Bob?
Aye.
And I say aye. Oh, Eric,
Aye.
sorry. Thank you very much, Lauren.
Thank you.
All right, next, Bradford.
Next is an order of conditions for 70 Hardings Beach Road. The owner is Jonathan Welch, map 9C parcel M4, DEP number SE10-3777. This was for removal of an existing patio, retaining walls, parking expansion, and construction of a new patio. This was continued from May 13th and June 10th, 2026.
Good afternoon, David Clark, Clark Engineering. We looked at the order and there are no issues with it.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, anything to add? All right, we're ready. I'm sorry,
Just
Janet.
wanted to note for the record a couple of edits that were made, I think, after it was sent out. There was a finding and a couple of conditions added with respect to the mowing that had taken place in the back that had gotten into the salt marsh grasses. So there's a finding at some unspecified time in the past, mowing of grass in the rear of the property had extended into the grasses growing in the salt marsh. And so that finding led to a little bit of beefing up of the conditions about no mowing of the salt marsh is permitted and it will be delineated by a single fence. So those are the only changes that were made.
Okay. Bob, I think we're ready for a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we close the hearing on 70 Hardings Beach Road and approve the order of conditions as amended.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
Next up is an order of conditions for 1174 Old Queen Anne Road. Owners are Timothy and Judith Ritchie, map 6H parcel 2A-T8, DEP number 10-3783. This was a request to demo and rebuild an existing cottage, install new basement entrance at the main house, install a septic upgrade with IA technology, and installation of mitigation plantings with all associated grading, utilities, and landscaping. This was continued from June 10th and June 24th, 2026.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Katrine Higgins from Bartlett Tree Experts, and also Mark Dibbs is available here as well. We recently submitted the vegetation management plan, and I didn't know if there were any questions.
Yeah, we got that, and we also saw your email about adding that to the order, and we
Right.
made those
Okay,
adjustments.
great.
Anything else? Mark, do you have anything?
Hi, Mark Dibb with Cape and Islands Engineering. No, just wanted to check to see if you received the email about the one comment and the vegetation management plan.
Yeah, I think we're all
Nothing else.
set with that.
Okay?
Commissioners, anything? All right, Robert.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we close the hearing on 1174 Old Queen Anne Road and approve the order of conditions as amended.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Bradford.
All right, next is an order of conditions for 70 Queen Anne Road. Owners are Hajar Management Company, map 13E, parcel 15-14, DEP number SE 10-3781. This was for construction of a new ADA ramp, drainage improvements, and site landscaping. This was continued from May 13th, 2026, and the applicant has requested a continuance to August 12th, 2026.
Robert.
Make a motion that we continue 70 Queen Anne Road to the hearing on August 12th, 2026.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
Next up is an order of conditions for 54 Rowland Drive. Owners are Timothy and Catherine White, map 13J, parcel 19-AR4, DEP number SE 10-3782. This was for demolition of a detached garage and driveway and construction of a new driveway and garage with living space above, within the buffer zone to a coastal bank and bordering vegetated wetland. Portion of the driveway is within land subject to coastal storm flowage. This was continued from May 27th and July 8th, 2026.
Hi.
Good afternoon, David Clark, Clark Engineering. Don't have any issues with the order condition.
Thank you. Commissioners, anyone?
Nope.
Robert?
Make a motion that we close the hearing on 54 Rowland Drive and approve the order of conditions as amended.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
Moving right along, next up is a request to amend an order of conditions for 504 Old Harbor Road. Owners are Blue Heron Trust, map 16H, parcel PB, DEP number SE 10-3752. This was for relocation of an existing dwelling onto a new foundation, including construction of additions and renovations, construction of a swimming pool, cabana, and hardscaping, and relocation of the existing driveway. As mitigation, existing lawn will be restored with native plantings. The amendment is to add a basement to the pool cabana to house pool equipment and storage, and add subsurface drive wells for stormwater and foundation drains. This was continued from July 8th, 2026.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon. My only comment was about special condition number 3, pool cabana basement shall be used only for pool equipment. We were hoping for it to also say and storage as originally submitted. I think it's a pretty minor detail. When I say storage, we're thinking like pool toys and things. So if that's a non-issue, then we're happy with the conditions as they are.
Okay, thank you. We also changed your correct name to the to supporting documents.
Perfect.
Commissioners, anything? Okay, Robert.
Are we just going to say storage, or should we say for pool accessory? I don't know. I'm just wondering whether it will ever be used for more than pool-related. I was just, the reason I wrote just for the equipment was to prevent it from being a real cellar, having pool equipment and then a lot of other things. I don't know. What do you think?
What would you call it?
I don't know. That's what I'm struggling.
Peter?
Pool accessories? Storage of pool, I don't know.
Pool accessory storage?
Yeah, I think,
Is that okay with you, Peter? Pool accessory storage?
I could imagine them putting a piece of furniture down there or something, outdoor furniture. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to go up there and
not
check
gonna
on
go
this.
look.
do we care?
Right, so
care?
I think that's fine if you'd like to say pool accessories. Yeah,
Okay,
You want to vote on it or something? I mean, I don't care. It could be storage.
I don't care either.
no. Okay, let's just leave it as pool accessories then.
I thought we were just agreeing it was going to be just storage.
Okay, just flat out storage. Okay,
Just makes
All
it
right.
easier.
all right, Robert.
Make a motion that we close the hearing on 504 Old Harbor Road and approve the amended order of conditions as read.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye.
thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bradford, next.
Next up is a request to extend an order of conditions for 32 Old Salt Works Road. Owners are James and Jennifer Mock, map 13L, parcel C32, DEP number SE 10-3496. This was for reconstruction of a former dwelling with associated site modifications and shorefront protection, as well as mitigation and coastal bank restoration.
Yeah, good afternoon again. I'm Lauren Taylor from Crawford Land Management. This permit, it was issued in 2021, so it was set to expire in 2024 originally, but it was extended under the Permit Tolling Act. So now it's set to expire August 18th of this year. And at this point, the applicant is just looking to extend it for a year to wrap up some loose ends. They need to install a demarcation along the upland end of the mitigation area. And they'd like to conduct maintenance throughout this growing season. We're just looking for an extension of a year. But if there's any questions, I can help answer those.
Commissioners, anyone have a question on that?
So the new date would be August 19th, 2027?
I believe August 18th.
August 18th, okay.
Okay, if we could have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we extend the order of conditions to August 18th, 2027 on 32 Old Salt Works Road.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob? Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right, next up is a notice of intent for 45 Old Harbor Lane. Owner is Holly Todd, map 16I, parcel 6-1-MR1, DEP number SE 10-3776. This was for proposed house and site improvements. It was continued from April 22nd, 2026.
Good afternoon. For the record, Sean Riley with Time Bond, representing the applicant. We had continued as we needed to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals for approval. We received that approval. There were some comments and requests from commission members at our last meeting. I'll run through those quickly. One of those comments was we were proposing a rinse area within the 50-foot buffer and a trellis. The commission had requested that we relocate that outside of the 50-foot buffer. After going back and speaking with the applicant, we've decided to just remove that completely from the application. On the screen, you can see highlighted is where we had it. We've removed it. We are requesting a simple closed drying line within that area along the stepping stones. One of the other comments was about the short stockade fence that was within the 50-foot buffer, as shown on the original plan here in red. And a request was made by the commissioners to try to remove that and replace it. So we are going to remove that stockade fence and replace it with bayberry, and basically create a bayberry hedge windbreak. The last comment was on the mitigation. We had requested to utilize the 30,000 square foot restoration project as the mitigation for the 700 square feet of mitigation that's part of the computation for the increasing coverage within the buffer zones. The commission had commented that it's not typically the policy to utilize past projects for mitigation. So we provided an area of pollinator habitat within the 50-foot buffer on the plan, and that's highlighted in purple. We provided the computation for those areas down in the lower left corner of the plan. 710 is required and 730 has been provided. I believe those were the comments that we needed to address. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Yeah, I just have one thing, Sean. Could you provide us the material that's being used for the grill and patio area?
It's just a paver material. Are you asking if it's if it's pervious or?
Yes. Yes, I am.
That I don't know.
You need to be
No.
at the.
You have to-
Sorry?
If you want to say something, you have to come up to the mic and identify yourself. Yeah, yeah.
Wanted to know what they were from. You wanted to know which.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Holly Todd, and I am the owner, or I'm the general partner of the partnership that owns the house, the property. I just met with the architects this morning, and I live in Germany, so they caught me up, and it is, they noted that, Sean, that was unclear on and it is, it's dry laid, is that what you say? I don't know. Anyway, it is permeable. It's not with mortar in between the stones.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we could add that, thank you, Holly. We could add that to the comments, or you could add that as a condition,
Okay.
your choice.
Thank you, Sean. Commissioners, anything?
I got one thing, Paul. Sean, the new mitigation area in the 50, that's like a meadow with wildflowers, is that the story?
Yeah, it's a pollinator habitat and we've called out all the different species. But it is a wildflower meadow that increases the habitat for pollinator species, which, as we know, are very important as part of this ecosystem.
Is that going to be,
So
is that going to be demarcated with anything like stone or something like that to protect it so it's not mowed over in the future?
We can, but she's got if you went to the property, there is a lot of that pollinator habitat and a lot of that restoration that they've just done. And Holly spent a lot of time and money working with Wilkinson Ecological to get that to where it is. The rest of the property does not have any demarcation, and the homeowner has taken on the responsibility of taking on this project to restore those areas and those habitats. So in this case, I don't see that it would be necessary. It's such a small area, and it's not a significant space. It's behind a tree. But if you felt that it was necessary, I'm sure that we could add some sort of demarcation, but it's such a small area within that whole broad spectrum of
Yeah, so
restoration of the
it's
30,000 square feet.
contiguous with the rest of the
It
area.
really is.
Okay,
It really is.
that's fine, thank you.
Commissioners, anyone else? Eric? All right, I think we're ready to continue this for an
Continue.
order.
Continue till when?
Sean, we're pretty wide open for our next hearing on August 12th. Would that work for you?
Absolutely.
Done.
Okay, I make a motion that we continue 45 Old Harbor Lane to August 12th, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Very good. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sean. Next up, Bradford.
Next up is a notice of intent for 42 Old Harbor Lane. Owner is Peter Harris, map 16I, parcel 20-MD2, DEP number SE 10-3768. This is for a raise and reconstruct guest house with patio and stairs and connect to existing septic system. This was continued from March 11th, 2026.
Good afternoon.
For the record, Thad Eldridge, East Southeast. The Harrises are in the back row this evening, or this afternoon, and Tabitha Cagle from Wilkinson is online. Just to refresh our memories, because we did continue this a few times, our proposal is simple. They're rebuilding a guest house that is mostly outside of the 100. The access is the real important thing to be able to get into that site. There is a septic tank proposed within the 100-foot buffer within existing lawn. But otherwise, that was the simple part of the proposal, and the commissioners all seemed to be happy with it. When Bradford discovered the patio that had been enlarged, the client had been informed by the landscaper that landscaping was exempt. Then they built it. The landscaper's gone. The company no longer does landscaping, so no one to go back to. They brought Tabitha in for mitigation, and if she could take over.
Sure.
Oh, good.
So good afternoon, everyone. Tabitha Cagle, Wilkinson Ecological Design. So the proposed 1,500 square foot plus mitigation area for that patio expansion is largely located adjacent to the existing vegetated buffer to the isolated wetland that runs just south of the existing residence to the northeastern property line with 45 Old Harbor property. The isolated wetland and the 50-foot buffer that is located across 42 and 45 Old Harbor underwent an extensive invasive plant removal and native plant restoration project several years ago. And this new proposed mitigation will serve to increase the width of the previously restored vegetated buffer and to an average of 8 to 10 feet in width, and will also extend approximately along 120 linear feet around the wetland. The northern extent of the proposed mitigation also joins with that recent 45 Old Harbor restoration that also took place around the wetland and which was just discussed in the previous hearing. So the proposed mitigation area will replace approximately 1,500 square feet of lawn with a combination of native grasses, flowering species, and shrubs, over 168 in total. And that will really serve to enhance the overall buffer zone function to the isolated wetland. And one further thing I'd like to mention regarding the proposed mitigation area is that the existing low split rail fence that currently defines the edge of the vegetated buffer will be relocated along the edge of the new proposed mitigation area. And then the mitigation area to the northeast property line that is not exactly adjacent to that wetland area will be delineated in a similar fashion or with another acceptable method. And we'll take questions now.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, anything? Eric?
Yeah, it's a good spot for your mitigation, and removing the fence was excellent idea. And hopefully you'll match the other side with the fence, so it looks even. But yeah, it narrows the path. Looks good to me. Thanks.
Commissioner Janet?
I'll just say that I really appreciate the approach taken to resolving this matter. I know it was a surprise to the homeowners to find out, but I think they took the obligation to mitigate for that very seriously. And thank you, Tabitha, for laying that out, because I was trying to get both plans up on my computer screen to see how the two mitigation areas related to each other.
Yeah.
So I really struggled with that. So delighted to hear that they do relate, and it becomes an entire ecosystem that makes a lot of sense. So thank you, well done.
If you come up to the mic, you can.
Hi, I'm Peter Harris, owner of the property. I just wanted to reiterate to everybody on the committee that we didn't know that no permit was pulled. We assumed we went to a contractor and they did a job, and that's their job. So we didn't do anything wrong that we thought of. We've also, if you check our records over the 30 years we've been in the home, we spent a tremendous amount of money on revitalizing the what we call the swamp, the old bog. But we just want you to know that we made a concerted effort. We always have and always will do. That's really it. Thank you.
Would you come to the mic, please?
I can show you photographs, and we really didn't make that big a change. For the extent that we have to go to now, I can just show you the photographs. Do you want to pass them around? Will it make any difference or not? It's really overtaking a good part of our garden now. And we've lived the way it was. We just added a little bit of patio. We just don't understand the extent we're having to go to. That's all. I'll make peace with it, but it just seems an awful lot that we have to do.
I understand your concern, but
We have grandchildren, dogs. Takes half the lawn away.
It doesn't appear to be half the lawn, but
It's a lot.
It's all about the square footage. It's just,
mean,
it is the,
our bulk,
everybody's, we
it's
have to,
so
we have to
vibrant.
treat everybody the same. It's, otherwise you can't, vary. So it's an increase of square footage, which you have
I
to
understand that.
mitigate for the square
We
footage.
didn't harm the bog. It's teeming with wildlife. It's so vibrant, you can't believe it. Just food for thought, that's all.
Well, we appreciate that you have a proposed mitigation for what was done. I think as everybody, Paul and Eric have said, and Janet, I think too, we have regulations that we have to
I
follow.
understand.
And that's all we're doing right now is following the regulations as we do for each homeowner.
It's not personal.
Just a little bit? I mean,
It's,
just a little bit?
our regulations are our regulations, and if we make exceptions, we have to start making exceptions for everybody. And I think that's what precipitated our asking for that mitigation is we can't let, we've had people who do 42 square feet of additional coverage, and we've required mitigation. If there's new coverage, we need mitigation for it. So, but that's what Eric and Paul and Janet and everyone really have said, so.
Okay, all right, it's changed my environment, but okay, thank you.
thank you so much. So, Thad, we are ready to go to an order. What works for you?
If the 12th works for you,
That's fine.
that's for us.
That's fine. Bob?
I'll make a motion that we continue 42 Old Harbor Lane to the hearing on August 12th, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Thad. Next up,
Thank
Red.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next up is a notice of intent for 48 Saltmarsh Way. Owners are Richard and Susan Connolly, map 15J, parcel W1A, DEP number SE 10-3786. This is for construction of a single-family dwelling, swimming pool, and after-the-fact tree removal within the buffer zone to a coastal bank and bordering vegetated wetland, construction of a detached garage within riverfront area. This is a new application.
Good afternoon, David Clark, Clark Engineering, Teresa Sprague from Blue Flags Design. There's a lot of overlapping resource areas on this property, so I'm going to go over them individually. On the north side, there is a small salt pond with a salt marsh around it. Associated with that is the 100-year flood, and obviously associated with the 100-year flood is the coastal bank. So on the north side, we have a coastal bank, which was delineated using the DEP policy for coastal banks. On the south side of the property, there is an old drainage ditch that used to drain an extensive array of cranberry bogs all the way up to almost to Stony Hill Road. That ditch is considered a river under the Rivers Act, or a perennial stream, in that it shows up as a blue line on the USGS map. On both sides of that ditch are the remains of an old cranberry bog, which now is considered a BVW. And so we show the 100-foot, or the 50 and 100 feet in purple from the edge of that wetland. And we also show the 100 and 200-foot setbacks from the ditch, which is the limits of the inner and outer riparian zones under the Rivers Act. And the last resource area is the Pleasant Bay ACEC, which is defined as 100 feet from the 10-foot contour, which is also shown on the plan. This lot is a very large lot for this zoning area. So it is entitled under zoning because of the amount of area to have a house and a guest house. So the scope of the project is to convert the existing dwelling on the property to be a guest house and construct a new single-family dwelling on the property with a detached garage. The renovations on the guest house are pretty much done. Some things were done on that portion of the project without a conservation permit, which Bradford brought to our attention this past winter. And we've included that in this application as new site coverage. So the house is positioned primarily within the buffer zone to the northerly coastal bank. We tried to keep it as far out of the resource area as possible, knowing that we kind of have pre-existing conditions where the existing guest house is, and we've got to get a driveway in there. The detached garage is outside the buffer zone from the BVW to the south. It's also outside the buffer zone to the coastal bank on the north, but it is within the 100 to 200 foot zone riverfront area. Part of the project is to redesign the driveway, which is shown on the plan as a new circular driveway. A new Title V system is proposed to serve all the buildings, and that is entirely outside of any resource area. The project results in an increase of 3,148 square feet in the 50-foot to 100-foot buffers from the resource areas. And then independent of that, there's a 1,579 square foot increase in the riverfront area. Those two are treated differently under the regulations, and so that's why they're presented differently on the plan. So the increases in the riverfront area results in an increase in site coverage from 3.6% to 4.9% within the entire riverfront area. And under the performance standards for the riverfront, you're allowed 5,000 square feet or 10%, whichever is greater. We're well below the 10%. And so going back to the main dwelling construction, 3,148 square feet is the increase. There are some trees to come out, and mitigation is proposed both for the removal of the trees and for the 3,100 plus square feet of increase in the 50 to 100. This is a project that's allowed by right, so no zoning relief is required on this one. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on the engineering plan.
We want to hear from Teresa first, and then we'll just.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Teresa Sprague with Blue Flex Design. I'm just going to quickly go over the existing conditions, starting from the north and working south, so similar to the way David presented the resource areas. So in the northern portion of the property, we have a coastal bank and then the 50-foot buffer to the coastal bank. That area has been disturbed historically. The Connollys are fairly new owners of the property. They did have an AR, I believe, or Bradford, correct me if it was an AR and RDA, I apologize, to do some vista pruning. And their landscaper went a little bit above and beyond what was allowed in that vista pruning permit. The area has been historically managed. There's a smattering of oak, some cherry trees, but it's mainly white poplar, so invasive white poplar in that area that's been previously topped. So part of our restoration plan is we're proposing to completely restore that area. We described the trees in that area. They have become, because of continual topping over decades, and we've included a picture on page 4 of our land management plan of what that looks like without any, without it being in leaf. So you can see they really have been topped. We've got an outer canopy that's growing with very little inner canopy. They're in very poor condition. Most of those trees are invasive white poplar trees. So we are proposing to remove all of the previously cut trees and restore that entire area within the historically managed vista corridor with native ground cover layer where there's currently none existing due to the amount of shading, shrubs and trees within that area. There are 3 white poplar canopy-sized trees that are also within that area that we are proposing to remove as part of the plan, and we're proposing to plant additional trees in that area, including red maple and white oak within that vista management area. So it's a very clear vista corridor if you go out to the site and see that has been managed. We're proposing to maintain that view by planting native shrubs of varying size and creating vegetative layers where none currently exists in that area. So that's part of the restoration project overall, but specifically part of restoring that previously managed vista corridor. As we move further south, we've got significant amount of invasive vegetation on the eastern portion of the property and then down along the southern portion of the property and of course along the western property line. So we are proposing in total, the management area is just over 39,000 square feet of invasive species management and restoration plantings. That also does incorporate the area on the north side of the lot within the 50-foot buffer zone. Our goal here was to make sure that most of the area remained in a naturally vegetated state. The 50-foot buffer zone within the BVW and the top of Coastal Bank will entirely be vegetated, so there'll be no proposed structure at all within the 50-foot buffer zone. As David pointed out, the overlapping resource areas on the site do get a little bit confusing, and we did include a tree management plan that includes the trees to be removed, a table. In that, we included that there's one white oak over 20-inch diameter breast height. However, that oak tree is actually outside of jurisdiction. So there's only a small triangle of an area in the middle of the property and to the east that's outside of jurisdictional area. It's sort of sandwiched between the two 100-foot buffer zones and outside of the riverfront area, and that is where that 20-inch diameter oak is located. However, we are mitigating for that. So we recognize the loss of such a large tree. It does have to come down for the construction of the house. So we are mitigating for that. So we're following the mitigation regulations as if that were within jurisdictional area and mitigating the loss of those trees by planting 30 additional trees on the site. I do want to point out that within the 100-foot buffer zone on the east side and to the south, there is a significant amount of native canopy that will remain in place. Invasive vegetation in those areas mainly consists of bittersweet, shrub honeysuckle, autumn olive, privet, English ivy, periwinkle, and porcelain berry. So only the invasive vegetation will be removed from those restoration areas, and the native vegetation, including the canopy trees, will remain intact. In total, as part of the restoration, we are proposing 506 native shrubs to be planted, along with the 30 trees. That's outside of the landscape schedule, which we include for the areas around the house. There are some retaining walls for the swimming pool, and we've included this, which we've tried to keep mainly native. I don't believe there are any non-native species that we're proposing in the planting beds. We are showing some additional native trees being planted, again, outside of that jurisdictional area along the northeastern property line, mainly eastern red cedar and white oak. And we're showing additional native shrubs that will be planted even though they're outside of jurisdictional area. Any of the proposed lawn around the house will be fescue clover lawn. And then we're proposing on the east side and to the south side a mix of meadow, so native grasses, wildflowers, and shrubs interspersed throughout, which then transitions into the heavily canopied area to the east and to the south and throughout the riverfront area. On the western side of the property, we're proposing to plant out eastern red cedars to provide some screening between this property and the property directly to the west behind the proposed garage. We do want to note that there was one tree that was removed by the guest house. I submitted photos to Bradford of that tree. It was severely leaning towards the gas utilities. We are also mitigating for that tree after the fact. It was removed as a hazard tree at the time, and we are mitigating for that after the fact. Additionally, there's one small oak tree Again, it's outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, excuse me, but it's within the 200-foot outer riparian zone. It's a small oak tree that's close to the guest house that will need to be removed in order to allow for the driveway to be installed. At the guest house itself, again, part of the previous project that we're dealing with, I guess, under this notice of intent filing, there was a patio located in the L area at the front of the house. That patio was removed. We're proposing steppers just to get into the house and out of the house to the driveway. And then we are proposing a small patio area on the east side of the house. There is a lilac shrub there that will have to be removed or transplanted to allow for that patio installation. And that just allows for the guests to have their own outdoor area in that spot. And I think David pointed out that there is that existing garage. It is located outside of jurisdictional area, but it will be removed as part of the overall project. So there's a lot going on this site. So I think questions, comments are appreciated. Thank you.
All right, commissioners, anyone want to start?
Yeah. Always, everybody blames the poor landscaper. I'm sure that over 40 years, I mean, you know, it's been, so it was a mistake for probably 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
No, not throwing landscapers under the bus. That was what they said to me. Our landscapers got a little overzealous. That's all. But understood. The place has been, they were managing it like it had been managed for, as you pointed out, probably 40 years at least. Thanks.
Yeah. How many feet back is the bottom of the last wall? You know, how many feet did you give to the 50 on the bank?
I think there's like 2 feet there.
It's tight. Construction will have to happen from the south, come in from the south and work its way north. The limit of work is outside of the 50-foot buffer.
Yep.
So is the limit of work right at the 50 also? So what are you pulling in? You gotta, so the limit of work will have to be further down the hill, right?
Well, the limit of work is right there at the 50. We didn't want to go beyond the 50. So there's just enough room to dig a footing for that wall within the work limit.
And the percentage in that, what is your percentage at? I didn't get it. You know, in your, from your 50 to your, from your 100, 50 to the 100 here on the bank, it's only 12% of the whole section of pervious?
So
So that's not much.
the 12.7% is the site coverage within all the 0 to 50, I mean, from 50 to 100-foot buffers on the property. So it's a combination of
Well, I mean.
buffer to
it's
the bank and the buffer to the BVW.
Yeah, it's a big piece of property, so it's a, you know,
Doesn't get separated.
so it's a little intimidating, but it's still, you know, we have a record of what we allow, and, I mean, if you're at that
But-
percentage, go ahead.
Do we always combine the 50 to hundreds for all the 50? I thought normally we got it for each 50 to 100, for each NDZ, for each whatever the area is.
I've never done it that way.
Well,
Because
you'd
they're
still be
always
well below.
overlapping.
Okay.
These don't overlap. What overlaps is the riverfront, but the two, the buffer to the coastal bank and the buffer to the BVW are on different, opposite sides of the property. So I
Yeah.
don't know why they would be combined.
Well, one of the other considerations was we felt that the BVW is the most sensitive resource area on the property. Coastal Bank largely just provides a mechanical function as a vertical buffer to storms. If we were to, most likely, looking at this, if we were to treat the 50 to 100-foot of buffer to the coastal bank independently, we'd be over the 35%.
Right.
Would, yeah.
That's why I had trouble understanding how we were at
We'd be
12.7.
asking- we'd be asking for a variance. Otherwise, we'd be pushing the project into the 50 to 100 to the BVW.
Yeah, I think the house was cited as carefully as possible to be mainly located outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. There's just there's that small triangular kind of pie-shaped piece, oddly pie-shaped piece that's outside of jurisdictional area. So the structure that's within that 50 to 100-foot buffer zone is mainly patio, swimming pool, some retaining walls, and then a small portion of the proposed structure.
So we're
And
kind of,
that can be cut down at all to have less coverage in there?
So we tried to minimize the amount of patio. A lot of the area around the swimming pool is actually lawn. We did try to minimize the amount of patio around the swimming pool in order to minimize the amount of structure proposed within the 50 to 100-foot buffer zone. So we're proposing the patio only in the area between the house and the swimming pool directly to the north, and then the areas around that will be Cape Cod or lawn or fescue clover lawn around that area. We do need the retaining walls for the site due to the slope.
so you've, in history, they've always been added together?
We've never I don't remember where we've separated them.
I don't know.
Other other engineers might have, but I don't recall that we've ever done it.
Well, I'll say that it's not usual to have resource areas that don't overlap, that each have their own buffer zone, that don't
You kind
intersect
of
in any way.
robbing Peter to
so-
pay Paul in a way, but.
Well, yeah, it's,
Absolutely.
But I would say if you had to, protect one or the other, I agree with you. The coastal bank's the coastal bank, and you can put a wall up, and it'll be, for water to get that high would be a struggle. You never know, it might happen someday, but the mitigation is certainly a plus. I mean, every expense there's no expense held on that. Is there going to have to be like a bank on the northeast of the property? Because where the pool is going, there's a huge mound there. It's got to be dug out.
yeah, what is
So when you keep going east, is it eventually going to slope down? Or does it level out?
There's a retaining wall on the east side, so they are proposing a greenhouse on the site for gardening. That's located outside of jurisdictional area, but there are tiered retaining walls on the east side.
Oh, I
that
see.
will-
So that's how they're retaining the bank. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yep.
Teresa, where is the white oak that's going to come down?
It's located,
It's not in
the little pointer here. I'm not going to speak, but I'll walk over and just point. Okay.
I won't knock on the window for you. Okay. Thank you.
Janet, you have anything?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. Whenever we see 16 and 20-inch native trees, we pay attention. And being in the buffer zone of the ECAC sort of puts us into even a more rigorous review process. So it was hard to distinguish. So you called out the 3 white poplars down on the bank itself,
Yes.
but there's 11 altogether. So what I was having a problem with was understanding of the ones that are slated for removal, which ones are the invasive white poplars and which ones are natives. I can't tell the difference.
Okay.
And it becomes important in 2 places. One is that technically, our regulations for tree removal allow tree removal only under certain specified conditions, disease, threat to safety, et cetera, and removal necessary from within the footprint of a proposed structure where the applicant has demonstrated there's no feasible alternative location for the structure. So the structure is largely outside of jurisdiction. But the 90% of the trees that are being slated for removal are within the pool, the patio, and then a whole lot not within any structure or patio or hardscape. And I'm guessing those might be the poplars, but I can't tell whether any of those native trees are out in these wooded areas along sort of the western side and a bit over the eastern side. So I couldn't tell whether, why those were being removed, what they are. So if you could
We can definitely mark
label
those.
if you label, I mean, they're all either invasive or native, right? You have one
Correct.
non-native. So if you can just call out the poplars, that would do well enough for that purpose. So, and I know we haven't made a big deal before about removing trees for hardscape, but technically under the regulations, that is not one of the permitted situations. And the second thing is in the replacement ratios. So a couple of years ago, we changed our regulations so that they relate solely to the size of the tree, right? 20-inch and above is 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1. With the very next line of the regulation says, subject to the following adjustments. If it's an invasive, it's always 1-to-1, regardless of the size. If it's a native, it adds an extra point to it. So natives over 20-inch become 4-to-1, and 10 to 20 become 3-to-1. And so as I started counting based on the numbers that you reported, I got something closer to 50 trees.
So I think the confusion here is that the 20-inch diameter oak is not in jurisdictional area.
Yeah, so I'm going to take that out of my calculation.
And then there's also a large pine that's over 20-inch DBH that's also located next to that white oak that's just outside of jurisdictional area. So again, we are mitigating for those trees, but we are we have not counted those trees. And then we're mitigating it 1-to-1 for the 11 white poplars.
Okay, that's appropriate.
Maybe for the next time, just omit that.
Yes,
You know,
we should, yes, that
Just
should
talk
have been
about
omitted.
the trees that are in our jurisdiction.
Agreed, yes.
Right, it's nice, yeah, we're grateful that you're mitigating for a tree.
Yep.
We're also dismayed that a 20-inch oak is coming down under any
Understood.
circumstances.
Yeah.
But we know we can't require mitigation for that. But I just want to make sure that what is being slated for removal is properly identified for removal and is properly mitigated.
Yes, we will show the white poplars in a different color so that they're
That'll
easily.
do it. That would work. That would be exactly
Okay.
work.
I just wanted to add, I'm all for what's right is right. So we've always figured 35, sometimes we play around 10% or what have you. Can you just also get a figure on what the coverage percentage is on the top of the bank there, from the 50th to 100 on its own?
Yeah.
Also, if we have been on record that we allow the two to be they're added, then I'm going to go with it until we change the rules, if you can find it.
I haven't seen it.
Otherwise, I think,
Not aware of allowing it in the past.
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
As we
I've
say,
never
it's-
seen
It's
it.
very unusual to have two so separated that they don't
So
overlap.
I'm all for what's right. If you got to do what you got to do, if it's 35% around that range, I mean, we've even gone as high as high 30s. But I just think, a deal's a deal.
It is, right. And if a variance is required, a variance is required. And, our standard is that it makes sense under the totality of the circumstances. And if the coverage in that section is excessive because we're preferring the BVW, that's the kind of grounds that we could point to. So we just need to make sure that the record is clear about what we're doing here. I have a question for David. What is the stormwater management proposal for the patio and pool?
It's pervious.
It is.
So we weren't, there was one, thank you for pointing that out. So on the west side of the house, we show a leach pit.
Yep.
That will pick up the gutters and downspouts from the building, and there's an opportunity to pipe a trench drain for the patios into that also.
So there's nothing along like the retaining wall that will have a drain on that side so that the,
No, but the retaining wall will be built backfilled with gravel, as most retaining walls are, to
Right.
provide.
so it will help
Oh, so
provide, so the
there's
runoff,
no
anything that comes
hydraulic
off that
pressure,
patio. Because under the rain like we got last night, a pervious patio is only going to absorb the
It
first
never rains here in the summer.
quarter of an inch. Yeah.
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Maybe I'm not seeing it, but is the view corridor defined on any of these plans? Because you mention it, but yet I can't tell where it is.
We did not specifically draw lines for a view corridor, but we can add that to the plan. if
Well,
that's
because,
something-
yeah, if it's been allowed and was passed, approved previously, we need to have it, if it was approved previously, which if they've been just topping, maybe they never got approval for a view corridor? Is that possible?
Go ahead.
It was our understanding that they did either got an administrative review permit to maintain a view there.
That's
our understanding.
correct, yes.
So it was never a formal view corridor?
No, but we
Or
can,
order conditions, no.
I
We
can
do
clarify that.
show, it's very faint, but where you see the AE11 up north of the coastal, the top of the bank, you'll see two lines. On one side, it's defined as trimmed vegetation, and then, well, scaling it, it's 45 feet. To the west of that, there's another line. That's where we located in the field, where basically the limits of tree cutting had happened in the past on the east and the west sides of the property, looking out towards the salt pond. So we can better define that on the plan so it stands out better.
In my opinion, it's not gross at all, the way it is, the size of the view corridor, considering the size of the property. I mean, it's
No.
not terrible. I mean, I think it's pretty much the way it should be.
Right, I just wanted to see it on the plan, because if we're saying there's a view corridor, it needs to be
Yeah.
and I do see what he's talking about, but it's not defined as a view corridor. And I think we just need something that just says view corridor.
If I may, from my understanding, that administrative review was just for tree removal, was not for the establishment of a view corridor. But there was a note within it that they would be coming back with a more substantial filing for management of that area and establishment of the view corridor. So I think this would be that filing.
So we're on to a whole new deal, but what happened before, and it doesn't matter, we just make the plan to how we're gonna do it.
right.
My other question, the garden beds, are those considered part of the mitigation?
No, they are not. There's a
Okay.
separate landscape plant schedule on the right-hand side of our plan, and that's for the planting within the garden beds, but.
Oh, okay, that's why I was asking
Yes.
was where,
No, we're not.
so the landscape plant schedule is the garden beds?
Those are the garden beds, and they're
Okay.
located within the retaining walls around the swimming pool.
Right.
Yes, correct.
I just didn't know if anything had been defined for what was going in there and wanted to be sure. I'm struggling with the 50 to 100, and especially the one that has the pool and the patio and everything else. So, I mean, I know they're trying to keep it as small as possible, but I'm still struggling with that, because it is a rather large pool, and they've got a spa, and then they've got the patio. So just so you know, I'm struggling with that aspect of the plan. One last question.
We'll know better, yeah.
There was mention of installing in-ground risers along the existing it says oh no, it does say dirt path where necessary, but I'm not seeing, and maybe I'm just missing it, the dirt path marked. And where the risers, obviously they're going to go in that dirt path, but does anybody else see the dirt path? Okay, so I'm not totally nuts. Okay, just a smidgen nuts right now, but I've looked and looked, and I still don't see it.
I'm not exactly sure we're seeing the note, but I'll look.
The note is under outcome 2, further maintain the health and stability of the coastal bank by installing in-ground risers along the existing dirt path where necessary to eliminate the occurrence of erosion and siltation on the coastal bank and to the salt marsh below.
There's no proposed path, so there is no proposed access. We discussed with the homeowners if they were looking to get access down there, and we decided it's basically would be a path to nowhere, and so we were not proposing any path,
So
I will correct
that comment's not needed.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I just,
Yep.
Yeah, that's impressive.
very little caught by me lately. I think that's pretty much it for my questions.
So we're going to need to continue this, but what would work for you in terms of pulling together what you need to?
To show the vehicle, color the white poplars, we can do that pretty quickly.
Sounds like it's all you.
Except for the coverage count.
All the coverage
Yeah,
counts,
yeah.
Coverage counts, yeah, so that I can do.
So we could continue to when's your next hearing?
August 12th.
Could we continue to August 12th, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
But first, Bob has a couple things.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
It's my fault.
You can't go until you listen to me, so.
Yeah,
I wouldn't dream of it, Bob.
we need that expert.
Okay, I just got a couple of things. The meadow, is that going to be demarcated at all?
We can demarcate the meadow area, yes, and I think it's necessary to demarcate between where the lawn transitions into the meadow.
Okay, and what about the restoration area on the west side, closer to the house? Doesn't seem like you have any large shrubs there or anything like that.
It's mainly the trees and then the shrubs, including inkberry holly and northern bayberry in that area, so it is mainly larger shrubs in that area.
Okay.
Yep.
Terrific. And what about, David, the paved driveway into the site? Is that asphalt right now?
It is. It was probably paved a long time ago due to the steepness of it.
Considering, is it pretty steep?
It is.
I can't remember. I'm just wondering, it's close to the wetland. I'm wondering whether you can, this is an awful lot of money, this project. Wondering if you could remove that paved area.
Add a little more.
We are proposing to remove the pavement from the entrance to the driveway. We're going to put a couple of granite pillars they would like there at the entrance where it splits off and goes to the house directly to the west. So the asphalt's going to be removed to that area where it's generally fairly level. Over the culvert, that will be permeable. But then there'll be a drain and a small small cobble apron that transitions into that paved driveway over the steep portion where it will remain paved. And then as it transitions back up into the level parking area, it will go back to permeable gravel shell.
So just to try to prevent the stone from moving, that area is going to be.
We will add that to our site plan.
Yep. Yeah, we did it here and then to here. Yes, that's all to become impervious, yes. So that's on our plan, so we'll make sure that's on both.
Yeah, I agree that would have to be paved. That would be a mess if it was stone, especially if you had to plow in the winter. That road is bad enough as it is when it gets plowed.
And then I have one other thing. Closer to where the pool is, there's a large pine that's kind of leaning towards the pool on the northwest corner of the pool. And I'm wondering, that's probably going to have to be removed because the debris from the pine is going to be, blowing into the pool. And you're going to have to mitigate for that if you do remove that pine.
I believe that pine is currently shown to be removed, and mainly the pines that are being removed in that area are due to the grading that's required. So that's why those pines on the west side of the swimming pool are coming out. And then just on the west side in general, there is some regrading that's required for this, and so those trees will have to be removed for the regrading, and that's why we've mitigated for them, obviously.
Are you sure it's not, I'm thinking that, I looked at the stakes out in the field. I'm thinking that it's north of the pool and not
Just
to the
directly
west of it.
north? Oh, okay.
Like northwest of it,
I'll take a look at that.
yeah.
So maybe one of these.
I'm thinking that, it's probably going to be removed at some point, and why don't we remove it now and mitigate for it?
Sure. Okay, we'll take a look. Thank you.
It doesn't have any blue tape around it or anything like that?
No, we weren't proposing to remove anything other than the white poplar within the 50-foot buffer zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I had, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so August 12th works for you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, Robert, we're ready for a continuance motion.
I make a motion that we continue 48 Salt Marsh Way to the hearing on August 12th, 2026.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bradford?
Next is a notice of intent for 169 Woodland Way. Owners are Thomas and Kathleen Doherty as trustees for the 147 Woodland Way Realty Trust. Map 11K, parcel HC42, DEP number SE 10-3785. This is for demolition of an existing dwelling and construction of a new dwelling and swimming pool within the buffer zone to a coastal bank. This is a new application.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David Clark again, Clark Engineering, and Tom Mulcahy from Mulcahy Design Group. There's a landscape architect for the project. So this is a property on Riders Cove. The resource areas associated with Riders Cove are primarily the floodplain, and then a portion of the landform qualifies as a coastal bank, a small portion of it where it kind of looks like an old borrow pit, but it's in a small area along the waterfront where the slope exceeds 10 to 1, and we default to the floodplain contour as the limit of the coastal bank. So we show the 50 and 100-foot buffers in purple. The existing house on the property is just touching the 100-foot line. In designing this project, we worked to put the new dwelling pretty much where the old dwelling was. So all the increases in the 50 to 100-foot buffer are really due to the hardscape, the pool, the patio, and whatnot. And that totals about a little over 2,400 square feet. There are about 20 trees to be removed within the 50 to 100 to accommodate that. There's a lot of understory vegetation in that area too, but that is primarily overgrown ornamentals. The house was not maintained probably for at least 15 plus years. One of the original owners of the house in Harbor Coves, they were there a long time. So all the other development on the property, the driveways, septic systems are all well outside the 100-foot buffer. It's really just the hardscape that's within your jurisdiction. The remainder of the buffer zone is, if you've been out to the site, you can tell that the understory was maintained by the former owners to maintain views, but there's a well-established tree canopy in the remainder of that buffer zone that we intend to keep. I don't think there's really need for view improvements. Got a pretty good view of the cove as it stands now. The removal of the 20 trees will certainly help that, but a lot of the canopy will remain and will be enhanced, as Tom will tell you about in a moment. This property is so large that this project does not need zoning relief. It meets all setback requirements, area requirements. So it's just a conservation permit that we need to move forward. That's all I gotta say.
Good afternoon. As David stated, we're removing about 20 trees exactly, and we're proposing 40 trees to mitigate for those removals. Existing trees out there are a combination of pine and oak, and what we're proposing is a combination of red oak, eastern red cedar, river birch, and amelanchier. As David stated, the property is very large.
Excuse me for 1 second. Could you please identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Tom Mulcahy, Mulcahy Design
Thank you,
Group.
Tom.
We're hitting 12% coverage of the 35% max. We have an increase of 2,433 square feet of hardscape. Our proposed mitigation exceeds that one-to-one requirement at 2,798 square feet. The existing understory in that resource area is pretty much denuded of plant life. It's basically just fescue lawn. And our mitigation plan shows where we're gonna really restore that whole area and kind of define a pathway to the existing shed and to the water by reestablishing a natural habitat. We meet the 75% requirement for native trees and shrubs. All other disturbed areas due to the proposed plantings will be restored with a native seed mix, and all proposed lawn areas will be native drought-tolerant fescue. If you have any questions, happy to go over it.
Commissioners, who wants to start?
I'll say something. First of all, when I went here and found the house behind all the existing foliage, if you will, these situations just make me sad, because that place was obviously gorgeous in the day.
At one time, it sure was.
Dave, will the new house be built right on the existing concrete basement, all that, or is that gonna be rebuilt?
No,
You're gonna dig it out and redo
dig
it?
out, yes, it'll all be removed. You can see the outline of the existing house in green on the site plan.
Okay. Do we have an opportunity to use the land differently so that the pool and patio are not in our jurisdiction? It seems to be land forward. I don't know if it could be, would be, but if wishes were for me, I'd move that pool out of, I'm tired of approving pools in our 50 to 100. I'm sorry.
I would just to add on to that, I was wondering the same thing. Can you move the building back more? I mean, I know before it wasn't in our jurisdiction, and now because it's been moved forward, everything else has to be more forward, the patio, the pool, which becomes our jurisdiction. I was wondering if there's any way to go back as well, similar to what Elise is asking.
Short answer is yes, it could, but we meet all your performance standards in that we're well below the 35%, as Tom just pointed out. We're mitigating for the trees that are being removed. The Dohertys own the property next door. I think a couple of you were on the commission when that one went through. They bought this property because of every developer in the neighborhood was looking to buy this.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they wanted to control what happens. As you can see the size of the lot, it can be divided. So instead of one 3,000 square foot house, you could have two 3,000 square foot houses here with swimming pools and all that. And that's what they didn't want to see for the neighborhood. And since they own the property next door and their house sits on a lot that is well above the area requirements for the neighborhood, It was quite possible you could get a third lot out of that. And that's not what they want for the neighborhood. So they did consider all that. They knew what the potential was for if somebody else came in and developed this lot, and I think they've done their best to keep it within reason, and again, we're well below the 35% and comply with your regulations. So, like I said, the short answer was, yeah, we could move it back, but we think it's the best location on the property for the house, and minimize the disturbance to the 5,100-foot buffer.
Eric?
Yeah, personally, I agree with that. I mean, I can't just talk about one plan and argue about the 35%, and then you're a little over, half the 35%, and now we have to be consistent, in my opinion. And if you're well below the 35%, and that's usually what we allow. Now, I mean, the meadow was pretty much with the pine grove is staying intact. The mitigation is an excellent idea, putting it off to the side a little bit and keeping the meadow the way it is certainly a well thought out plan to me. Besides whether it could be, certainly something to keep in mind. It could have been developed into two houses. So that's kind of a win-win also as far as conservation goes. And the question I had is on the meadow, how do you plan on maintaining that? Are you going to mow it a couple times a year? Are you just going to have a path going to the?
Yeah, so I think the idea was to follow your direction on the mowing of the meadow, whether it's annual or biannual, and then maintain that 5-foot corridor that's going to be defined by the mitigation planting so that we have foot traffic path from the main house to the shed and then to the water.
Right, so that would be a good plan as far as the meadow.
And we can demarc we can demarc the path.
Yeah, the path would have to be, you
Yeah.
can't just mow that once or twice a year,
Right.
so it has to be mowed. So that's my 2 cents worth. Thanks.
Anyone else? Janet?
Okay, thanks. So, I feel like I'm going to say the same thing I just said a few minutes ago, but what the heck, I'll say it again, because you've got some incredibly large native trees that are slated for removal here. I mean, I see, not one, two 20-inch oak trees that at that size are easily 100 years old, as well as a 16-inch cherry tree, which is also about 100 years old. And I wonder what could be done to save those, and I come back to what the regulations provide about when trees can be removed. That one 20-inch oak is just sitting on the edge of the structure, and I don't understand, maybe that structure could be moved back a little bit to save that. The other one is in the way of a patio, as is the cherry, as is, and then there's a bunch that are just the 10-inch pine out beyond everything, the 12-inch pines. There's a whole bunch to the southeast of all of this that are slated for removal. Don't know why. Grading, I assume, but, that's just, it's not, none of them are in the structure, in the footprint of the structure. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that, again, I don't think that, I see that you're proposing 40. I don't think you're taking into account the native addition that comes into it, because I got 56 when I added 3 natives over 3 inches, 13 natives between 10 and 20, between 10 and 20. So I just would ask you to take another look at your replacement ratios and what you're proposing, because I think you're missing some of the trees there. And I'll just say for the record one more time, losing a 20-inch oak tree and proposing a 2.5-inch caliper red oak just feels like a really bad deal for the ecosystem and the environment. Even if it's 4 of them, it's going to take them 100 years to be able to provide the services that these trees have been providing for a century. Not to mention the carbon that's being stored, it's currently stored in, and that's going to be lost as well.
So, I did catch the comment from the
Okay, I
previous-
figured you would. I was looking at you.
We did do some healthy exploration on siting the house, and this wasn't the first location. We did try and site it more towards the northeast, but we were running into problems with the Conservancy District, and also it ended up being more tree removal going into that like pine grove there. So that's why we kind of landed on the location of the existing building footprint, because there's kind of a natural corridor. Unfortunately, there are those very old trees that are there, which kind of brings the ratio back up, right? And the way we're interpreting the bylaw is that it states a proposed structure where applicant has demonstrated there is no other feasible alternative location. So there's basically a 10-foot offset roughly for our limit of work. That's for construction site access. So that's how we got to that disturbance area. And we're defining a pool and the structural retaining walls as structures as defined by the planning board. Unfortunately, there's no structure definition in the conservation bylaws, so that's how we're defining the pool and the structural retaining walls. And this is the offset needed for that construction. So that's how we came to that limit of work line. And those trees are in that limit of work line.
Okay, I mean, that's, you say what you say, I say what I say.
And we don't go by planning board definitions, do
Did we
we?
add a definition of structure?
No, probably not, but
In the coastal floodplain only, we did.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's new.
One other question, David, same thing. So what is happening on the water side of the pool that, I see at least on the landscape plan, the hatching for the pavers, I assume those are pervious pavers or dry laid pavers?
Yes, and
going around?
we're also, on the materials plan, you'll note that I'm pointing out drainage. So we'll be providing drainage structures for that.
Okay, are they on the plan, or?
I don't know if they have been located yet.
We show drainage for the house itself.
Yep.
There is an opportunity to put an additional structure if some direct conveyances from the patio is required.
Yeah, it's a lot of patio.
Yeah.
And if it's dry set pavers, again, that's semi-pervious, it's not entirely pervious, and under a heavy rainstorm, you're going to have runoff. So I can't tell, I wasn't sure what was happening in that
Yeah.
unhatched area just to the house side of the retaining wall.
The
where one of the-
drainage structure that is towards the water from that appendage to the house on the southwest corner, that'll also pick up discharges from the pool equipment, because the pool equipment will be placed in the basement of that portion of the structure.
Okay,
So that's why that one was cited there, because we'll be picking up, when they drain down the pool for the winter, that will capture all of that.
and they-
I wish all pool equipment was underground. It would
yeah,
make-
lately, a
nice.
lot of it is. So presumably, when you say draining down the pool for the winter, it's not chlorinated? going-
Yeah, typically, I mean, nobody drains a pool in
That's
its
what I'm saying.
entirety for the winter, but they
Right.
do drain it
Drain
down
it.
8 inches or so to account for rainstorms like we
Right,
had last
right.
night. But that's really the only reason why it would be drained down, or to make a repair. But in the case of making a repair, that pit's not big enough, and they would have to pump the water into a truck and not carry it off-site.
So, okay, thank you, that's it for me, thank you.
Robert, you have anything?
Just got a couple of things. So the shed is going to be renovated, is that the story?
I believe the shed is remaining, not being touched.
Not being touched.
Yep.
Little old Cape Cod left, huh?
A little bit.
There's not much of a shed there.
It's not much of one, but it's keep a
Nostalgic.
quahog grate dry for,
Okay, next to the shed, there's a large oak tree, and it looked like it was hacked at. Needs to be pruned. Can that be added to the job?
there was a lot of damage from that coastal storm this past winter. In fact, we had a couple of trees that were completely uprooted that were removed, and I believe that oak tree suffered a branch failure, and it was trimmed and taken away,
Okay, so could that, yeah.
or hacked, as you say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. There's a large mitigation area in there, so that area is gonna be mowed. I think Eric had a mowing schedule for the meadow. I don't know what dates you suggest, Eric.
Yeah, they usually do it late summer to mow it. You just don't want to mow them too early, because then you have to mow it twice, and you could have critters nesting in meadows in the spring and early summer.
And that's pretty pristine out there, you know, with the fescue, all the fescue, and it's beautiful out there. And those trees aren't gonna be touched out by the marsh and so forth. You're gonna leave those alone.
There's no reason to take any trees or prune any trees beyond the work limit. Yep.
Okay. Okay, some areas are gonna be seeded with fescue.
That's just in anticipation of disturbance for the planting of the proposed trees.
Okay, I think that's all I had right now. Thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of recap this where some of the members weren't happy. Would it be a adequate plan to have a monetary value on the trees? If it can't be, obviously it's an old lot. It's the last of the Mohegans. It's a big lot. The house has to go in. To put it, so do you want to put a monetary value on the trees over what you can replace them with? And that there's not a lot of places you can plant the trees unless you're going to do the sides. You don't want to ruin the pine grove. Would that satisfy some members to maybe donate the excess to the Chatham Tree Fund or what have you? Or just, no, don't build the house because we can't take any trees down. I mean, we have to kind of recap this to target what our next meeting is gonna be about.
The irony here is that, you know, when we see development projects on undisturbed areas, and they're woodlands, and we know that, 30 or 40 trees are going to come down, but there's nothing you can do about that because the project is being developed. So when you see one where there's an existing house and an existing driveway, and you think, great, because they can just put it right where that is and nothing has to be lost, except now you've got hardscape that's bigger than the actual house. So that's what's driving everything, and I think the hardscape just feels, it feels excessive, even though I know it's only 12% because, that's the percentage in there. So the tree loss just feels like it's going so that, you can have the outdoor kitchen and the fire pit and the conversation area and all the other things that are going in there. I don't know that we have any authority to require, a payment in lieu or something like that.
Or an area that needs to be mitigated like we've done in the past, in different areas or something?
Yeah, in response to if they have to up the mitigation, the number of replacement trees, it might be challenging on this. But there's plenty of area outside of jurisdiction, and I don't think we have any objection to putting replacement trees in other areas on the lot where they can provide ecosystem services and do all of the good things even though they're not in jurisdiction. So there might be plenty of adequate room as you're coming in the driveway.
That's a
there.
nice compromise.
Yes.
What is happening currently, there's that wooded area off the street, and then there's the house. Once you take the house down, I know it's not in our jurisdiction, but what's happening out there? Is it gonna remain wooded and natural?
It's my preference and my direction to the homeowner to keep a wooded buffer between the house and the road and not clear cut to the street.
But you don't know specifically what's gonna occur.
From what I understand with the meetings that I've had, that's the route we're gonna go. What you see on my site plan, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, great. Well,
Good.
that's a benefit anyway.
That's really a benefit, yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else, commissioners? All right, so we need to continue this. You're going to get us new replacement tree ratios?
August 12th, yeah.
August 12th, wow.
We have, how soon do you want this?
Since it doesn't have to go to zoning, we can be back here for August 12th.
Okay, that works. All right, Robert.
Make a motion that we,
Continue.
Continue. Yeah.
like to make a motion that we continue 169 Woodland Way to the hearing on August 12th, 2026.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Bradford.
All right. Next up is a notice of intent for 10 Kingsbury Way. The owner is Colin Hines. Map 14D, parcel 9B, DEP number SE 10-3787. This is for minor lateral additions, second floor additions, replace a hedge and plant a tree. This is a new application.
Hello again.
Good afternoon, twice in one day. At Eldridge East Southeast. So we have a little lot, a little flat lot. If we put in 2 inches of topsoil over the whole thing, we'd be out of jurisdiction. Or if we took away 2 inches from the rest of the property, we'd be even more in jurisdiction. This is a fully developed lot. There's no naturalized area within the floodplain. In the back, there is some not manicured area, but that's well outside of jurisdiction. So the Hineses are proposing to expand their modest home by a small amount. There's a bump out over the existing stone, the bike area, that's for a closet. That will be constructed to the floodplain standard, so it's going to be a foot higher than the rest of the house. Under the building code, the first floor needs to be 13. So the closet just won't have a low space in it. The porch, they're proposing to expand that. That's partially within the floodplain. And then the other 2 blobs, if you will, on the plan, those are second floor additions, so they're able to keep within the footprint. It is a challenge to see how the floodplain goes, because it's right there. I mean, we have an 11-1 in the middle of the property, in the middle of the front yard, where a 10-9 next to it, so it does make it interesting. Mitigation-wise, it's pretty minimal what's needed, but what can we really provide that's meaningful? The privet hedge that's there, we're proposing to take that out and put in a winterberry hedge. And then for actual mitigation, a flowering dogwood sort of incorporated into that. I'd like to say that that would be completely left to naturalize, except the neighbor's driveway is right there, and they're going to need to prune it over time. So it's, I'm not sure what other options we have for mitigation. If there are questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Commissioners, anything? No? Bob? Eric?
Karen? No. No. Anytime you can get rid of a privet hedge is a good thing.
Yeah.
Winterberry.
And I really like the winterberry hedge that Eastwood planted on Pond Street.
I love that.
It's
Every
fun.
winter, I admire it. Ones out here, too, are superb. Yeah.
But I like it, the way that it's cut, and then all the berries are like straight, they're
Yeah.
plainer.
Birds love it, so it's a win-win. Yeah, there's nowhere else to mitigate on this property.
Yeah, so we can continue this, and I think we can squeeze that in for August 12th if that works.
We are going to zoning, I can't remember what date the zoning board of appeals is meeting, so
Yep.
we don't have to squeeze it in.
August 27th.
Ah. All right.
So we want to do the first meeting in September?
That would be great.
I don't have a calendar here.
I do. It'll be the 9th.
So
9/9.
that works for you, Thad?
Oh, yes.
All right, so continue to September 9th.
Make a motion that we continue 10 Kingsbury Way to the hearing on September 9th, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you,
So
Thad.
much. Good night.
Next up, Bradford.
All right, moving along, we have a certificate of compliance request for 101 Oyster Pond Furlong. Homeowner, or previous homeowners, Edward Skopas, Chatham Oyster Pond Properties LLC, map 13E, parcel 25-R24, DEP number SE10-3586. This was for a single-family dwelling remodel, front porch and entry addition, second floor addition, new walkway, new patio, and basement bulkhead with native plantings. The applicant has requested a continuance to August 26, 2026, to install some additional mitigation plantings.
Am I correct in understanding that we've continued this a few times already? So am I correct in understanding that this August 26th won't be continued again? This will be the final one?
It shouldn't. I met with them yesterday, and I think we're all on the same page. This is their second continuance request.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, though?
Yeah.
So they're continuing to install mitigation plants? Aren't they going to need an extension for survival of those plants?
It's a small number of them.
Okay.
Their mitigation area is the square footage it should be. It's just a little bit lighter than I would expect it to be. So
Can we add their survival as a continuing condition to the certificate of compliance?
I don't see why not.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would solve that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they understand that they'll need to care for those new plantings.
In perpetuity.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Robert, we're going to continue this to August 26th.
Okay, make a motion that we continue 101 Oyster Pond Furlong to the hearing on August 26, 2026.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
All right, next is a certificate of compliance for 65 Sears Road. Owners are Sears Point Summer LLC, map 11A, parcel 2-J14, DEP number SE10-3484. The agenda says it's for a pure reconstruction. It's actually for a revetment extension and fiber roll array. I'm not sure where that confusion happened. Regardless, though, the revetment looks in good in substantial compliance, as does the fiber roll array. They do regular nourishment as needed. So I think this one's okay to approve.
Hi, Sean.
Good afternoon, Sean Riley, Time Bond here. If there's any questions representing the applicant.
Commissioners, anyone? No, no questions.
Make a motion that we approve the certificate of compliance for 65 Sears Road.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Sorry, Eric.
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up,
I'm going to read the next two in together. Certificate of compliance requests for 3325 Fox Hill Road, Eastward Ho Country Club, map 10M, parcel 2-1, DEP number SE 10-2412, for coastal beach stabilization and nourishment, as well as DEP number SE 10-2149, for proposed beach vegetation and bank protection. Both of these are fairly old orders that are being closed out, and as I've mentioned for the past couple of hearings,
next
they're
two.
working through their COCs to close out and are planning to file a single comprehensive shorefront management plan sometime this fall. So again, I think these are both okay to approve.
okay. Sean?
No comments, just here if you have any questions.
Commissioners? All right, we're good.
Make a motion that we approve the certificates of compliance for 325 Fox Hill Road, SE 10-2412, and SE 10-2149.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
Next up is a COC request for 90 Honeysuckle Lane. Owners are Eric and Gina Auger, map 13B, parcel 17, DEP number SE 10-3391. This was for construction of a cantilevered addition over an existing deck, landscape improvements, construction of existing stairs, and replacement of a retaining wall and expanded driveway. There are some slight minor deviations from the existing plan. I think the driveway was shifted slightly a couple feet to the left. But other than that, I think it's okay to issue. The resource area itself looks very dense, which is fantastic.
Anyone here from that property? I don't see anyone. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
No.
All right, Robert.
Make a motion that we approve the certificate of compliance for 90 Honeysuckle Lane.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
All right, next up is a COC for 85 Cockle Drive. Owners are George and Suzanne Foote. Map 5D, parcel 1-SMI15, DEP number SE 10-3520. This was for removal of existing house, construction of a new house, and removal of invasives and restoration of natives. Again, this one looks fine. There was one minor issue where the rinse station wasn't on the original plan, but it was listed specifically in the order. So I don't know what happened back in the day, but again, I think it's okay to issue. And it was, the rinse station was conditioned, though it was not on the plan.
Okay. Commissioners, anything?
What he says.
All right, Robert.
Make a motion that we approve the certificate of compliance for 85 Cockle Drive.
Second.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
All right, and
Next up, Bradford.
last COC request for the day, COC for 7 Squanto Drive. owners Daniel and Anna, I'm going to pronounce your last name wrong, Shanasi, map 10C, parcel 14A, DEP number SE 10-2181. This was for construction of a 24 by 24 detached garage. And again, there were some minor deviations. They were outside of our jurisdiction, so okay to approve.
Great.
Anyone? All right, Bob.
I move that we approve the certificate of compliance for 7 Quanto Drive.
Second.
Elise?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I say aye. Next up, Bradford.
All right. Next up is a violation for 96 Tulipy Run. The owner is Bruce Levine, map 14A3, parcel 3-N83. This was for unauthorized clearing of trees and vegetation performed by the owner of 211 Tisquantum Road. So a little history.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, some history on this. We received a call in May of this year about some trees that had been removed over the winter. We went out, and it's a little bit difficult to see the area. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm just going to share my screen quickly. So we went out to see the area. It was rather difficult to see from the street. However, we do have aerial imagery taken from December of 2025. And let me see if I can make these photos larger. Hopefully, oh, that's not that much bigger. But you can see here, December 2025, there were trees, and then a follow-up in March of 2026, where you can clearly see that there's been some sort of disturbance. We reached out to the homeowners of 96 Tulipy and 211 Tisquantum, asking for permission to get out onto the property. 96 Tulipy did respond back to us, and so we were able to get out there earlier this month, where we could see that, yes, there were in fact quite a few trees that had been cut. It's difficult to get a full view of the area, but we did notice, I counted somewhere around 50 tree stumps that had been cut, 50, ranging from relatively small trees, maybe 4 to 6 inch diameters, up to some pretty large ones. This one, where my cursor is about 2 inches in diameter, 2 feet in diameter. And so there's at least 2 very large trees of that caliber. And then quickly this morning, I put together a rough map of the area, just so we can kind of see what we're looking at. So 96 Tulipy Run, 211 here. This reddish area is where the tree clearing occurred. While I was out there too, I also noticed this kind of purpley area where trees weren't flush cut to stumps like they were in the red area, but there was signs of tree topping that had occurred in this purple area. And then we had noticed some, didn't look like any trees were removed, but a lot of the debris was kind of placed in this blue area.
Is that northern purple area on 211's property or 231's property?
It might be a bit of both. Without knowing exactly where property lines in this area are, I wasn't sure definitively. But I want to say the property line maybe comes kind of here, so it may be a bit of both. Hard to say. I think we need someone to survey the area so we would know for sure.
So what's the brown? What does that mean?
This reddish brownish area, that's where they actually cut the trees.
And the debris was left.
And the debris.
So they didn't even take the debris away.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to, this is very difficult. I think, and the property on the very south where there's purple, whose property is that?
U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
So let's start with the Fish and Wildlife, because it's the smallest. How do you deal with that?
Currently, we're not. I mean, it basically is just, if you've been out there, there's a lot of erosion going on just south of that. Trees are down all over that area as a result of, the revetment and the wave action that's taking place. It's been cutting back on the bank. So what they did is they just left a few trees sort of over on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife property. They're just sort of fallen over. There was no cutting there. We can certainly reach out to Grace at U.S. Fish and Wildlife and let them know about that.
I'm sure they'll probably want the debris taken away.
Well.
So who's responsible for this?
Well, that's what we're trying to tell you. We believe that the person who owns 211 to Squantum did the cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Did the cutting on someone else's property.
Did they notify 96?
Well, maybe this is a good time to break in and ask Attorney Ford to chime in. He represents Mr. Levine, who is the owner of 96 Tilapy Run.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. For the record, Attorney Mike Ford. I've been retained by the Levine family, the owners of 96 Tilapy Run. And they were alerted by their neighbor at 231 to Squantum of the cutting. They're not there during the winter, and we believe the cutting occurred sometime between December and the end of March, but we're not positive. The owner of 231 reported to my client, the Levines on 96, that the owner of 211 called the owner of 231 and said that he was going to do some tree trimming and topping, and did 231 need any trees done while he was having it done? And 231 said no, he didn't want any trees cut on his property. As you can see, there is a purple area that has been identified to the north that apparently a portion of it may be on 231's property. But my client came down, found the mess, got in touch with conservation agents, invited Paul and Bradford out to the house, and they've been out a couple of times so that they've been able to put together this map. We believe through emails that 231 got from 211, that 211 is responsible. We're not suggesting that 211 did it personally, but caused it to happen. We don't know who the landscaper or landscapers were who did the cutting. My client has lost significant privacy, and he understands the entire ecosystem has changed and needs to be restored. And part of my job and other counsel who have also been retained in this matter, who I'll be working with, will be making sure that 211 steps up to the plate to get this done, because it is 211 that did this cutting. So we're here to encourage you to issue the enforcement order. We're obviously issued on the enforcement order because we're the landowner. We're kind of an indispensable party under the statute. You got to name the landowner. But my understanding that the order that the staff has put together will be directed to the owner of 211. So we're going to work very closely with your staff and trying to get this restored, and making sure that 211 steps up to the plate on this.
Okay, so that's our first step then, is to issue an enforcement order and come up with a restoration plan.
I believe it is.
Okay,
And this is for 96.
that's correct.
Yeah, so we're identifying the property owner, as Mr. Ford alluded to. We have to identify him as, the property that the trees were cut on. The enforcement order basically is directed to his client, but it names the owner of 211 Tusquantum as the person who did the cutting. So that we're in the preliminary stages here. I think this is, if we issue the enforcement order, we have the ability to change things if more information comes in down the line. But at this point, we'd like to give them 60 days to file a restoration plan, which Janet has pointed out many times, must be done to the satisfaction of the commission, and then we'll see where that goes. This is really a difficult violation because those trees, Eric, are just sort of laying on top of each other, and there's a lot of big trees out there. We couldn't even crawl around out there. It was that bad. So probably over half an acre, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So even after restoration plan, 211 gets the view.
Well,
So,
That all depends on what the restoration plan is.
yeah.
Yes.
But as far as I would think it probably wouldn't hurt to probably have legal counsel on this, town legal counsel, right?
well, we haven't got to that stage yet, but, I mean, we certainly can go down that road if we
Yeah,
have to, yeah.
because as far as work, with the way we would work it, that 96 would be responsible for the rest, if they have I don't want to get into it, but if they have a civil suit, they can add on what the restoration cost would be on the civil suit, I would imagine. But 96 probably would be responsible for their property, not making 211, chase 211 down the road to pay for the restoration. That's the only thing I'm
It's not all
thinking.
that different from the one we just talked about last time, where somebody cut on somebody else's. So you can say that the 96 is being subjected to the order because they are the owner, and they're going to have to give permission for the work to happen on their property, but 211 is the responsible party and is responsible for preparing a restoration plan approved by the commission, and then, implementing that plan ultimately.
And I would hope that it would also be approved by 96, whatever restoration plan.
Yes, of course, they have to approve, yeah, it's their land, they have to approve.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
And by the commission, obviously.
Yep.
right,
I'll have to
obviously.
say, okay, yeah.
I just want to make sure that it meets your property owners.
But the thing about it is, if some of the stumps are how big?
2 feet.
20-inch?
Yeah, you're not going to buy trees I think there would be a monetary value of a fine of sort to this. I mean, you're not going to.
I think in this instance where, we have the benefit of a private counsel with the landowner pursuing a civil action in that nature, there may be some order from the court down the line that requires that they pay the town or they pay his client. I mean, it's going to be.
But we have a long way to go
We have a
before
long
we
way
get
to
it,
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it
a
has
long
to
way to
start
go,
with
and
the-
it's a difficult restoration project. You're exactly right. It's massive, so it's not something you can just go in and say, let's put a little plan together, we'll plant some plants and we'll restore it. It's more difficult than that.
But if they want to start off with just cleaning what was cut and take away, we can
Yeah.
file and do an order for that, right? So they
Yep.
don't,
And we have made attempts twice to get a hold of the owners at 211, and first we were denied access. We went back to follow up, and they basically told us to leave. It wasn't the individual who owns the property, it was I believe she said it was his mother-in-law, but we were asked to leave. So we haven't had any cooperation at this point. So we'll see where it goes. And obviously, we'll get counsel involved if we have to.
Yeah.
right, because when it comes down to it's the homeowner and we're not steering it to some landscaper that, who knows what it is. It's the homeowners, it ends up being the homeowner's responsibility.
Oh, yeah, because they pay.
If I can, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make it clear that the owner of 96, my client Levine, who is the property owner upon whose property the damage was done, we intend to look for full restoration.
Good,
And,
good.
and so that's our goal, is to put it back. He's They've lost all their privacy. You go out there and go into the rooms of their house, you can look right over at the other house now, or look back. And so they're going to make sure that this property gets restored. And so we look forward to working with the commission to put the resource area back the way it was.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take step one today and make a motion for a restoration order and for an enforcement order. All right, with that,
I move that we issue an enforcement order for 96 Chillipe Run.
Second.
Karen,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
Elise,
Aye.
and I say aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Next up, Bradford.
Next up are minutes to be approved for May 27th, 2026 and June 10th, 2026.
Oh, Elise, you were not here for both of those. Okay. Yeah, we can do them together. Anyone do you have any?
I made some corrections online, but other than that, no, not verbally.
All right, well then, Robert, we're ready for a motion.
I'll move that we approve the minutes for May 27th, 2026 and June 10th, 2026.
Second.
Karen,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I say aye. And one final motion, Robert.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Karen,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
Elise,
Aye.
and I say aye.
The last time we'll see stuff like